Cantina Cast Patreon content.
Hello, Patreon members, and hello, Lauren.
Hi. I'm rearranging all of my stuff in my lap right now so I don't knock over my whole table.
My gosh, how many things do you have for this show tonight?
Not that many things, but large things.
Okay, all right, we'll see more on that. Sorry about the late start. I'm going to go ahead and just get this out of my system now.
Everything's perfectly all right now. We're fine. We're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you?
Because that really has been the theme of the night. With yeah, this is when
We're getting it. It's happening.
It's because Jonesy's not here, and if I'm being completely honest, he does so much for the show, and I rely on him so many times, like for so much that I forget. Like, oh crap, I got to do this, and oh crap, Jonesy does this, and oh crap, forgot to do that, and so Lauren's just sitting there scratching out, like, what? How does this even show?
A bump on a log. I was like, should I put it in Discord? Does that help?
Should I get out and push? There we go. We got to get you that line. Would it help if I push? Get out and push?
Yeah.
It's pretty much what the show is. Well, anyways, we're here for another live version of Tatooine Trading Post. No one's going to show up because we didn't get the link out until like right now, but that's okay. The video will be out. The audio will be out. You guys can come back and take a look at this stuff. So, all right. So if you're not familiar with the show, this is our opportunity to kind of brag. No, I'm kidding. This is our opportunity to kind of show things that we've purchased here recently that are mostly Star Wars inspired. But there's also opportunities to share some of the things that we've kind of had sitting on the shelves, or things that we don't like. Jonesy, he's got all these really cool like statues and stuff that sit in his closet in spaces, and I've seen them because I've been over to his place, but they're not on display, and you really got to see some of this stuff. So it's just kind of for anybody that's into the trading aspects and merchandising and stuff like that. This is what the show's really about. So, and I have a very interesting story about something that I purchased that I'm going to save for the very end, because it's kind of comedic in some ways. But I'm going to let you go first. So why don't you go ahead and show, I guess, what you got for your first item here.
Okay. Well, so this you will recognize because you convinced me to get this.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that book before.
So I'm holding up the Star Wars Timelines book that came out, I don't know, a couple months ago, I guess. But
yeah, I think it was December, I think is when no, it wasn't that. It was like maybe 2 months ago. You're right. Yep.
Something like that. Yeah. But so, yeah, I finally got it because Albert was just saying the most amazing things about it. And he was right. So it's really, I mean, the cover is really cool. It's got a lot of cool photos in it and just little things. But what I really like about it is I always appreciate when these types of books, even though like visually they're really cool, I always appreciate when they're like a really good resource as well, because then it's something that I'm actually going to go back and use. And this one definitely fulfills that. And it lays out so many different types of timelines that I like didn't even really think of in that way.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense? Which it's kind of hard to explain until you actually take a look at it. But yeah, so this was a great purchase. I'm glad I got this. So,
and how do you consume that kind of a book? Like for me, it's like sometimes I'll just pick it up and start like flip through it and go, oh, let me just start here. This looks interesting. I'll read the timeline, and then I go down this crazy rabbit hole of like 45 minutes later, and I've read millions of pages and then never really even scratched the surface on this thing. And then other times it sits more as like a reference book for me to kind of pick up whenever I've got a question about timelines and when did this really exactly happen, that kind of thing. But how do you feel like you're consuming it or will consume it?
Yeah, so what I did at first was I sat down and like spent a lot of time looking at the different stuff, kind of like what you were saying, just like really took my time going through it. And then now, I don't know, like I kind of just, I guess, glance at it as a reference, like you were saying, if I need a refresher on like when did such and such happen, or what else was happening during that time, like that kind of a question. This is just like an easy thing to go to get a direct answer like that. So yeah, I guess at first I spent a lot of time going through it, and then now it's like kind of like just when I need it,
right,
I'll
as
get
needed.
it out.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, do you want to go again, or do you want me to go?
You can go next.
Okay, So as you guys know, I spend a lot of time and a lot of money at Five Below, which means I don't spend a lot of money because everything's Five Below. Do you have these stores up there in your area?
Yes, we do, but I haven't. Well, do we? I'm trying to remember. I know that we have them. So I'm originally from Dallas. For anyone that doesn't know that, I
You
know
got them in
we have them
Dallas.
in Dallas. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I haven't spent a lot of time in them because I have to be careful with that kind of thing. But
Yep.
but they're everywhere in Dallas.
Like it's so deceptive. It's Five Below, and most things are $5 or less. It's kind of like Dollar General, but just a little bit more bougie in terms of the stuff they carry. But then they do, like, the next thing you know, you're leaving and you've spent like $120. And like, well, crap,
Yeah.
I came in for something for $5. But I mean, I guess that's part of the beauty. So
I guess that's what the plan is.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, because you get in there and there's like so many freaking things that are not probably worth $5, but they're just unique and sure, what's one more? What's one more? And the next thing you know, you get 20 items and your bill's $108. But so this one, I just picked this up on a whim. Like, this is literally as I was walking out the store, I saw this. And I was like, oh, well, I've got to have that for no particular reason, but it's a Super Mario Brothers puzzle. Like, and I don't do puzzles. I can't even tell you the last time I bought a puzzle, but because it was sitting there and it was $5 and I felt very nostalgic in that like 0.2 seconds that I saw it, I thought, well, why not? I'm already spending $200. What's $205 at this point? So
Yeah.
but it looks kind of cool. I mean, this is like 250 pieces, ages 8 and up. I think this is in my wheelhouse in terms of the complexity that I'm able to do. So who knows? Maybe someday I'll do that, and maybe I'll. What's the stuff that they put on there? That puzzle glue crap, right? And then they frame it.
Oh yeah.
Like people
Does
always say,
anyone ever do that? Actually,
everybody
do
talks
people
about
just
doing
say
it.
that doing
No,
it? Yeah.
everybody talks about doing it. No one does that, right? It just sits there like
Because
everything else.
imagine walking in someone's house and they've got like tons of puzzles on the wall. That would
Mm-hmm.
be that would be interesting.
You know who actually longtime supporter, listener, dear friend of ours, and she's actually in surgery right now. So I don't know that she'll listen to the show, but I hope she does really well. Well,
Yeah,
praying for
best
her.
wishes on that.
But
for sure.
Kat is a avid puzzle person. In fact, she's got a YouTube channel where she does Star Wars puzzles, and she has a camera set up, and then she just talks. I mean, she talks with everybody that's in chat. It's kind of like a conversation. It's like watching Kat Mod Podge. That's what it is. Alex just threw it up there.
Oh, that sounds so cool. Does Kat glue them and hang them up?
I think she actually does. That's what I was thinking. I think she's like the only person in the known universe that actually frames the puzzles and puts and finishes them. Right, that's the big thing. I can't tell you how many puzzles I started and just never finished, and then you lose one piece, and you're like, well, there goes that puzzle. It's going right in the trash. There's no way to fix that.
Oh, that's cool. I wonder. I'll have to look at her channel. I wonder how people display them because that seems like that would be really hard to figure out. So
Yeah.
that's cool.
But yeah, there is one person that I'm aware that does that. So, all right, what else you got?
Okay, next. So this was part of I did a little splurge on May the 4th because a lot of these like big like visual books, like art books and stuff were on sale. So I got Art of Mando season 2. I'm partial to season 2 of Mando, I'm not gonna lie. So that's why I went with this edition, but it's really cool. And I love the part in this book where they're talking about how they did when they had to do the concept art for Luke, but they were really trying to keep it under wraps. So in all of the concept art, it's Plo Koon.
It's Plo Koon, yeah.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Which is like, oh man, I would have liked to have seen the concept art for Luke, but I guess, oh well, they had to keep the secret. But This is a really cool book. I love looking at like the concept art. I mean, it's basically like the concept art that they show at the end of the episodes. I mean, it's like that times a million in this book. So this was definitely a good buy.
Yeah, I mean, we see one piece at the end, or well, I shouldn't say that. We probably see about, I don't know, 6 to 8 pieces of concept art at the very end of each episode. And there's just hundreds of these things. I mean, stuff that, and of course, we say this all the time, but the really cool thing about these books is I picked them up personally because I love going back and looking to see where the inspiration was, because 2 years from now, they're going to put out some Disney TV series and you're going to notice something from this book, right? That it got thrown away, was never used, but nothing gets thrown away at Lucasfilm. They keep everything forever. I mean, they have people, and that's their entire job, is simply to archive this stuff. And so that when someone says, I need inspiration for a droid, or we've got a new baddie, and we want him to be like Darth Maul, but not really Darth Maul, they go catalog all this stuff so they can go easily reference it. And then here you go, they pull one out. Next thing you know, something that was in a concept art book suddenly pops out and is back in has life again, literally. So very cool stuff that they never throw any of that away. And this all started with the Ralph McQuarrie stuff, right? We still see that even today. Things are being like shown and brought to life on television and movies from stuff that he did back when, A New Hope was coming out. So love that stuff. To know and
also, like, for anybody, like, if you're creative at all or like doing art, it's kind of cool in these books too, because you get to see like the artistic process a little bit when you're looking at the different sketches and the different things that they were coming up with and trying out. Like, so that's kind of like a cool little thing to see, just like from a creative perspective too.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so here's my next one. Again, from Five Below. A bit of a controversial thing. I'm just kidding. It's really not for me. But I got this little Cara Dune like pop figure from
cute.
Mando. Yeah. And I've said this before, like I freaking love this character. I'm so disheartened that this character is not coming back, and I'm not even talking about the politics. Like it's not really even. I don't really even get involved in any of that stuff, or even have a say or a stance on any of that. I really don't care. It just doesn't ever. Nothing I've ever really gotten into, but simply from a storytelling perspective, there was just something really appealing about that character, her background. And I got to give credit for Gina Carano because she's not the best actress, but for that character, like that was like the perfect role for her. There was just something that was working for me on all levels. So I do miss the fact that she is gone. And for $5, I can have my own little Cara Dune and I'll stick it back here. And yeah, it's cute. She's really cute.
I was just going to ask you, does this mean that you do collect pop figures?
No. I don't collect pops. This is
that
just,
not
again,
a pop?
Is this a pop? No, I think they misspelled something. No, this is a knockoff pop? It's a pop mini. So that's not the same thing, Lauren.
That counts. I'm pretty sure pop mini is still a pop.
Pretty sure it doesn't.
It's just a type of pop.
No, I think I don't believe you.
How many pops do you not have? Like, how many if you're not a pop collector, how many pops do you have that are not part of your pop collection, but you have them? Does that make sense?
I'm feeling really uncomfortable right now.
I'm just promoting honesty and transparency.
I've got literally like 4 stacks of pop figures that are 4 deep, and they go to about here. So,
no. You're lying.
And I'm like 6'5", so let's see that. If I do the math, no, I'm kidding. I'm not. I have a lot of pops.
You had me going for a second.
No,
for a second,
whatever. You've seen the color of my skin. I've got a lot of pops, but I guarantee you, I do not collect them. They're just given to me. I don't know what to do with them all. So, yeah.
So you're a collector.
So maybe I'm not. Okay, what else do you have?
Okay, this was one that was on my list for a while, and then I finally got it. So Chronicles of the Jedi, which is, what kind of book would you even call this? Because it has a lot of art in it, but it's not just that. It's got a lot of just like reference materials for
like summary Jedi. Reference stuff.
Yeah.
It's almost like go ahead.
It's art heavy, but there's some other little tidbits as well. And it's got some cool little like pop out stuff, like a little like scrap of paper, like pop up, or I don't even know how to describe it. It's it's a really cool thing that they've done with this. How they've kind of combined different elements into the same book. But.
Yeah, that is one of my favorite books, honestly, especially if you're a High Republic fan. Like, I think I showed that one on one of the shows recently as well. And yeah, if you're a High Republic fan, like you gotta get the book. There's nothing new in the book, but they do a really good job of introducing all of the art. It's bound, like it's almost like a leather bound book, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's the cover and like the image that's on the cover and the way that they've done this book. It's like, it looks great on the shelf. It's a really nice thing it's a nice little collector's thing to have.
I was trying to find mine. I don't know where. Did you steal it? Did you?
Oh, this is yours. Yeah, I just took it. Is that not okay?
Yeah, it's fine. I've got other ones. I don't know where mine's at. Somewhere. It's somewhere up here.
Maybe it's behind all of your pops.
Good one. Here's, did you know, I'm going to share my screen here. Did you know about this though? And and I did order this, and I wasn't going to spoil it yet because it's not out. But they came out with, let me add it to the stream here. Have you seen this?
No.
So this is the same book, but it's in a hard case, and it has the signatures of a number of the authors that were part of it. So $100. They were limited to only 250 units. You can pre-order it. I don't think you can pre-order this anymore. I'm on their website right now, Inside Editions. I want to say this thing sold out in just seconds, but it looks like I can. Let me see if I hit pre-order, what it does. Get 30% off.
You always learn about the special editions like immediately. How do you do that? Are you just
Twitter
got sources?
I'm subscribed to all like Inside Editions and the what are the other ones called? The limited or not limited run. Those are the video games. I'm drawing a blank. There's like 3 primary groups that do these special ones. Goldsboro is one of them. Goldsboro is interesting. Like once you bought one from them, you get put on a list, and that I don't know how they figured this out, but they have like a priority list. And so when they release a special edition, I get an email saying they're opening it up for me and like X amount of people only right now, and you can pre-order. And then they do the next wave, and then the next wave, and then finally it becomes made to the public. But they're out of England, so you pre-order that book, and the day it ships, it's like a month later before you actually get it because it just takes forever to get over here. But
yeah,
I don't know. This is interesting. It says it's available. I heard this thing had sold out in just seconds, but it looks like you can still buy it. So if you're interested, you can get this version here that's just a more glorified version. So I did pre-order it, and it says it's shipping on the 26th, which is the day after my birthday. So pretty excited about that because it was a little birthday gift to myself.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you got to get a little birthday gift for yourself.
Yep. So yeah, personally signed by author Cole Horton and artist Yu Young Lee, who are the primary artists in there. So, anyways, I'll show this event, of course, once it arrives. But excited about it. Okay, let's see what else do I got. Let me go to another non-Star Wars thing. So I've been on a rampage to collect all of the World of Warcraft collector's editions, and I actually was able to get my hands on this particular one, which is the Battle of Azeroth, and it's still shrink wrap. So I paid a pretty penny for this, honestly, but I think I have missing only one now out of 12 of the collector's edition sets that were released for it. So yeah,
my World of
slowly
Warcraft
making it.
knowledge, as you know, is very limited. Was this like something that came out a while ago and you found this on eBay or?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Every time they have like an expansion pack, they release this collector's edition, which is in a box, and it has usually a mouse pad, some kind of a book. You get all these like in-game locks or unlocks, I guess, like these pets and things that are exclusive to anybody that pre-ordered or bought in the special editions. So some of those, like this one, I'll be able to get the perks in game because the codes have never been used. But then other ones, they've already been spent, so I can't get them. but on the shelf, maybe I'll post a picture if anybody that's interested. On the shelf, they look really cool together because there's like 12 of these box sets, and just finally getting around to collecting all of them, which has been taking forever because they're not cheap. They're pretty expensive now, especially since they're no longer made.
Yeah, I bet people jack those prices up.
Yeah, they do. Okay, and then here's the last thing, and these are just kind of like, so again, Five Below has shirts for like $5.
Oh.
So I got this one here, little Mandalorian one, and I think he says this is not a toy or that's not a toy.
Oh, that's really cute. I love that.
$5 for that one. Then I got, I'll talk about this one. This is a non-Star Wars t-shirt for $5, but it's a Dungeons and Dragons shirt, right? I don't know when I'd ever wear this, maybe to bed. I don't know.
That's cool.
And then I got this one too, which is another Star Wars one. Like this, and I don't even I can't tell if these are just like nobody bought them and so they're really cheap.
Yeah, that's cool.
I mean, it's like cool. I just like there was something about the font that reminded me of American Graffiti. George Lucas's first movie and the way that font looked in that movie poster. But it's almost like a Star Wars meets American Graffiti kind of thing. So, but I mean, for $5. It gives me another shirt to wear when we go on air and record. So why not?
Yeah, I'm running out of shirts, so I can relate to that.
You're like, dang, I don't want to wear that shirt again. I just wore it on the last show. So for $5. And they usually have like a lot of them. I bought a number of them. I have a Bad Batch from them. I've got a couple Kenobi shirts. There was, what was the other one I had? I've got a Darth Vader one. I have a couple Boba Fett ones when Book of Boba Fett came out. So I don't know how they get them. But yeah,
That's
I mean,
cool, yeah.
the Bad Batch one was the most surprising because I don't normally see merchandise for Bad Batch anywhere, but they had that, and it's got Wrecker on the front of it. I've worn it before on the show, but
I feel like I also remember you saying at some point a long time ago that there was a High Republic shirt at Five Below too, right?
no.
Was that
no.
Walmart?
That was at Walmart, yeah.
Well, still, that was surprising as
That
well.
was surprising. Of all places, Walmart had a huge collection of them, honestly. So, and I got a couple of those. I got a Marquee-on Row from Walmart, of all places.
Yeah, I wouldn't
So,
have expected that. That's cool.
no.
It's nice to see some recognition of
Right.
of the stuff that you don't hear people talking about quite as much.
Yeah. Okay, so then we'll end on this note. I want to talk quickly about something that I ordered and was delivered. And so
Is
let me
this your
show-
story?
this is my story.
Your
yeah.
funny story? Okay.
Well, I don't know if it's funny. It's actually kind of sad and comical at the same time.
Okay.
So this is Bastilla Shan. So anybody that doesn't know, Bastilla Shan's a character from the Old Republic. She's the heir, or I guess one of her descendants is Satil Shan, who's maybe most people are familiar with. Either way, this was a Gentle Giant PVC statue they did. Okay, and the story is, so I pre-ordered this. Actually, believe it or not, it's Kat. Once again, the supporter who does the puzzles. She had pinged me and was like, "Hey, this just went on sale." This is back in I think it might have been like 2021 when it went on sale. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I love Old Republic, the Star Wars Old Republic." So I figured like I got to get this thing. So I went and pre-ordered it. Well, since then, I moved into a new house. And I had completely forgot about this particular order. And it had been back ordered. It had been pushed back. It went to an email, like my notifications were going to an email that I don't even really check anymore. And so suddenly, was it 2 days ago? So today we're recording this on Thursday. This was on Tuesday. I get a message and it says, "Hey, your package has been delivered from Things from Another World." And I started thinking like, what did I order from Things from Another World? Because it's not something that I normally go to and buy. I don't usually shop there. And I'm thinking, oh, it's just, again, another spoiler. I thought it was another thing I bought from Dungeons and Dragons that I was wanting to show on this show. And so I go look and it says it's still pending, hasn't shipped. So I'm like, okay, well, it says it was delivered at my address. So let me go look out the front door. So I open the front door, I look out there, there's nothing there. Okay, well, then maybe it got delivered to the mailbox. So I run out to the mailbox, check the mailbox. Nothing there. And it was at that moment I had this sudden like dread sinking feeling where like your blood runs cold. They had delivered it to my old address. And so sure enough, I pull up my app and I go to the FedEx website. I can clearly see that they took a picture, the deliverer took a picture of this massive box. This is not a small statue, it's huge. So there's this massive box on the front doorstep of my old house. I jump in my car. I drive it's like 25 minutes away from where we live right now. I drive 25 minutes over there and I get there and there's no package at the doorstep. I'm like, okay, well, they probably brought it in. It had already been a few hours at this point. So I knock on the door of the old residence that I used to live in. And I immediately hear and see a German Shepherd running up. And there's somebody behind them. German Shepherd's going crazy. It's barking, right? Because someone's knocking the door, ringing the doorbell. And I hear somebody it's just an older lady. She grabs the dog and they head out towards the back of the house. Mind you, I used to live here, so I know exactly where everything is laid out and all that. And I hear her open the back door. She lets the German Shepherd out, then goes to the left, which goes into the master bedroom and then closes the door. Like I can see all this through the door because it's a glass door and there's a glass pane on the right-hand side. And I thought, maybe she's changing because she didn't like her shirt or she stinks. And she's going to put on deodorant. I don't know. But if I was like, surely she didn't just like walk away and not acknowledge that I'm here. So I rang the doorbell another time, waited a little bit, rang it. Nothing happened. I started knocking. Nothing happened. Then I was getting like, okay, this sucks. This is not fair. This is not right. Come on. I know you were here kind of thing. I rang the doorbell a couple more times. Nobody answered. So then I walked away from the door. And it was about that time that the neighbor that I used to know kind of pulls up. And I explained the situation, and she was like, "Oh yeah, she's kind of a recluse in some ways, a lot of ways. So you may not get an answer." She says, "Why don't you write her a note? Write her a note, leave your phone number, and I'll give you a Post-it note. You can do that, and maybe she'll contact you once she gets a note or whatever. So I'm like, okay. So I write this really nice, long, polite letter about, hey, here I used to live here. Love what you did with the place. No, I didn't really say that, but I said I used to live here, and I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. My package is left here. Here's my phone number. When you get a chance, please give me a call. I'll come by and pick it up and that sort of thing. And I put it on the front of the door, and I walk away and go back into my car. I go into my car, sit down, and it's about that moment that I see a police car start pulling up. And the police car is like slow rolling and kind of drives right by me. And like, it's one of these like slow motion effects where I look over to my left and the police officer is looking into the car, and we make eye contact at about, 600 frames per second or 1 frame per second, whatever it is, the slow motion is. And then she pulls over, and I thought, okay, what the heck? Am I getting pulled over? Like getting arrested here or something? So she gets out, the police officer comes up behind my car. She says, hey, how's it going? And I explained everything that happened, right? Hey, I used to live here. My package got delivered by accident and, whatever. And she says, well, the residents have called the police on you because there is a minor that's in the house unattended right now. Like nobody's home. It's just there's a minor in there, and the minor was kind of spooked, so they called the cops. So now what I didn't tell you is the person that I used to know, that's still the neighbor, she told me that the vehicle there is the mom's and that the kids are all at school. It was like this was about 2 p.m. in the afternoon. So the kids likely weren't there. And then I told the police officer, well, I said, I saw the woman. I said, it wasn't a child. It was an actual woman. She said, well, let me go knock on the door and see what's going on. So she goes up to the door, knocks on the door. Nobody answers the door. She comes back and says, let me call her again. Let me call her back and let her know that we're here and see if there's something we can work out. And I showed the police officer the picture of the package, being on the doorstep, and explained all of that. And so she goes back, calls the woman back up. And then at that point, a second cop car rolls up. I'm like, man, this is getting kind of like crazy. Like, this is not the kind of neighborhood either where cops just show up, first off. And so I'm sitting there waiting there. And then finally they both kind of come up, and so she says, okay, well, I've got a little bit of bad news, Mr. Padilla. First off, she's asking that she wants to press charges on you for trespassing. I'm like, wait, what? So I said, hold on, I'm not trespassing. She goes, no. She goes, listen, we talked to her already. We told her that, you weren't trespassing. You knocked on the door. You were sitting in your car. You were in the driveway. You're in the street. I wasn't even in their driveway. So we told her that, she can't press charges. There's no way that she can press charges on you. And, but she did say that it is, her daughter's in there by herself and that she's not there right now. And I said, ma'am, I looked at her and I saw an older woman, not a child, in that house. And I had already explained that somebody put the dog up and all of that. And she says, well, why don't you do this? She said, I saw your letter that you had posted. She said, you were very polite. Why don't you leave the note up there with the phone number, and maybe she'll have a change of heart, and maybe she'll call you a little bit later. And what I was picking up was the police officers were kind of aware of what was going on. Like, this person was clearly lying, right? She was clearly not telling the truth.
Completely unreasonable.
Yeah, right, of pressing charges. And so I said, well, look, I will do that. I said, I don't want to make a big deal anymore. I didn't mean for everybody to get involved in this, to be honest. So I left the note there, and then she said, but she is asking because her daughter allegedly was in the house. She was asking that I leave the premise. And I said, that's fine. I won't fight it. I'll go ahead and just leave right now. So I left in hopes that she would let me know that, it was a mistake, or this was a misunderstanding, or maybe there was a kid there that took the package away and put it away. But it's been 2 days now. I haven't heard anything. And so I've just had to take this as a loss. I didn't get my Bastille Sean statue.
Oh, no.
So there you go, kids.
No.
Moral of the story.
That wasn't funny at all.
I thought it was funny because she called the cops, and I'm thinking, what, like, why would you do that?
That is so stupid. That is so stupid. Hopefully she realizes that she's being completely ridiculous and calls you, because what is she going to do with that? Just
put it on eBay, sell it on Marketplace, sell it on Macari. I don't know. Or maybe she's a Star Wars fan. Who knows? Maybe she saw it and was like, holy crap, I want it. I know. I wanted this. It was sold out, and now I have an opportunity. This is the will of the Force. I've got my own PVC statue of Bastille Sean.
Oh my God. Well,
That's the only logical explanation at this point.
fingers
so.
crossed, praying that she calls you back.
No, she's not. And the good news is, number one, I was close to Chipotle, so I went and got Chipotle immediately after. Number two, the other good news is I went ahead and pre-ordered this again. So I went and bought, I found another version. Somebody was selling it. I ordered it, and it's supposed to be shipping here in the next 3 or 4 days. So I will have this to show, but I had to.
That's good. You at least still found a version of it.
Yeah. So there you go.
Man, wow, that's crazy. That was an emotional roller coaster of a story.
Was it really? Wow. I must have done a good job of.
You didn't see my reactions over here?
Well, I could see you stressing out, but I didn't know if you were like going for the R2 dramatic kind of thing that you were talking about in the last show, or the,
No, I genuinely was concerned.
Yep. I was this close to calling Jonesy and explaining to him. I did call Jonesy and told him the whole story after it was over, but I was going to call him and tell him that, hey, this was my one phone call, and I'd been, arrested, and see if he could maybe come bail me out down here in
For
Austin.
knocking on a door, which is completely allowed. Last time I checked.
Right. So on that note, I guess we'll end the show there. I don't know what else there is to say. How do you follow up that? I don't think I have anything else at this point. So, all right. Well,
it sounds like we'll get to see it in the future. So that's good.
Yes. To be continued on that front.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, cool. Well, Alex, thanks for jumping in. And I think there was one other person here. I'm not sure who that was. It's probably Lauren on her phone. But no, okay. Thanks for stopping by, and hopefully you'll enjoy the video, enjoy the audio, and certainly my rambling on about my first world problems with packages being delivered to the wrong house because I'm an idiot and didn't change or update my shipping address. But yeah, hopefully you find some humor in that as well. Okay, well, again, as a reminder, we'll be back here on Sunday, and if you didn't hear it already, what are we doing on Sunday for the Patreon show?
We are going to be talking about the short story, The Witch and the Wookiee from Myths and Fables by George Mann. So this will be a follow-up from our Dark Legends short story that we covered. So we're kind of doing a little short story series right now. Yeah.
Yep. Should be fun. They're actually a really good story. Yeah. And then we've also got the Way Station on Sunday night, which will be the news and rumors for this week. A couple things already brewing there. And we'll talk about that. And I was trying to think there was something else that came up. And then finally, next Thursday, to be determined. Lauren's still trying to nail that down. But we know it's going to be a story from a certain point of view, Empire Strikes Back. So I think you've got it down to 7 stories.
Yes, I've got to narrow it down. I've got to be decisive. But I found a handful that I like. So I got to make some decisions.
If you can't and you get it down to like 3, then send them over to me, and maybe we'll like have people vote, or I'll just pick something, or we'll figure out a way to break the tie in some way.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, guys. Again, thanks for joining us on this episode of Tatooine Trading Post, and we'll see you guys on the next show.
You're still listening? Wow, that's amazing. Well, I'm here to give you the disclaimer. Normally we do a big, long, drawn-out disclaimer thing saying what's what and who's what and all that other stuff, but I think you guys kind of know that Lucasfilm and Disney have no affiliation with us at all, and we have none with them. We talk about Star Wars, which is their property, and all that other good, fun stuff, but I think you can tell which is our stuff and which is their stuff. If you can't, well, then send a lawyer to send an email to me, and I'll be glad to chat with them. Other than that, you know what's what, so that's your disclaimer.